going. Music's going. Welcome to NorCal Sports Network, brought to you by Northern Lights Entertainment. Go check out Northern Lights Entertainment at northernlightsentertainmentradio.ca. He's got all his stations streaming live on the internet, and we got Dan live at In and Out. How is it?
Live from Peoria, Arizona. In and Out Burger.
There you go.
It
nice.
is good. Well, let's put
much
it this
better
way.
than how the Giants are playing.
Yes, much better than the Giants. So we're going to have to get into this. I'm going to be traveling here. So I'll open up here for a little bit, and then I'll come back and join you guys in about 30 minutes. But, man, Eric, things are just kind of lining up just the way we called it. I hate to toot our own horn, but heck,
yeah,
we said Jordan Hicks would fizzle out at some point.
Yeah.
And he is starting to show some tiredness. He's had a lot of, shaky outings recently. They've blamed a couple of them on illness.
I'm tired of hearing the excuses.
Yeah. Today it's the heat,
But he's never pitched in St. Louis before, though, right?
No, never.
Never pitched in St. Louis. Got it. Oh, Dan, did we lose you? I think we lost Dan. Hold on. Let's see if he comes back. We'll give him a minute here. What's going on? He's in mid-bite. And there he went. All right, cool. I'm guessing he'll be back either. He might either join while he's still in the vehicle driving back home, or maybe he'll just join us when he gets back home. Oh, there he is. He's back. He's back.
Hey, you know what? I'm on data, not on Wi-Fi, so I'm not going to stay long here. I'm going to get going. I'll join you guys in about a half hour. But
right.
Eric, take it away, and we'll cover this. But Giants are not looking good, and I don't think the next 20 games is very favorable for them. We'll get into that. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, sounds good, Dan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there goes Dan. He'll join with us shortly. He's just out there getting some din. But yeah, man, wow, what a game. I watched that first inning. I was like, man, this is it looks like the Giants maybe woken up a little bit. You put 3 runs on the board in the first inning. I was like, okay, here we go. We got something going on here. Maybe they're turning a corner. Then the bottom half of the inning comes up, and good old Goldschmidt, the Giant killer, blasts the 2-run home run, made it close, got it to 3-2. Giants tacked on another one, made it 4-2. And that was it for the Giants. No more runs came across the plate today. As we alluded to, Jordan Hicks, yeah, that was tough. And this is going to be an issue. We kind of been talking about this. Hey, what's up, Asif? I'm sorry. I always want to say Asif, but it's Asif. But we've been saying this, that, we're worried about Hicks, making him a starter. I understand he wanted to be a starter. Look, this is not a dig against the player, because he has a good electric arm. But is he ready to be a starting pitcher? No, I didn't think he was ready. I mean, if he had some starting experience the year before, something like that, where he's kind of built up, then it might have been a little bit easier for him to get through the season, because he would have been built up a little bit. But you could see it. I mean, I remember when he first was coming out, the first few games that he had, the stuff was electric. He had his 2-seamer. I mean, it was sitting at around 96, 97. The splitter was sitting around 89 to 90. Had a lot of movement. People weren't squaring up his balls at all. It was nice. And then you'd notice these last few starts, he's sitting, his 2-seamer is now sitting around 93, 94. he's getting worn down. That's just what we saw that coming. He's just not built up for it. And what my biggest concern right now, just staying with the Hicks storyline, is, is he gonna get burnt out to the point to where when you would eventually want to move him to the bullpen, is he gonna be effective in the bullpen? I just don't know. And exactly, Michael, and that's another issue. You can't even move him to the pin at this point for the simple fact that the Giants have no pitchers right now. They got 2 healthy pitchers right now. Granted, Harrison will be coming back pretty soon. Thanks, Lou. Appreciate that, man. But he's one of 2 starting pitchers. Does this sound familiar, guys? Does this sound familiar? Having 1.5 pitchers for a season? It's almost identical as it was last year. It's incredible. I don't understand it. And I'll stay focused here on the starting pitching for the moment. But you can't take them out of rotation because who else are you going to put in there? You got nobody else unless you make 40-man moves. Or you go out there and sign Trevor Bauer. But I don't see that coming either. But it's frustrating. And, the Giants are going to be they're not going to have a day off, I think, until July 1st, somewhere on there, if I'm not mistaken. Lou, you may know that better than I do. I think they got a nice stretch of games without a day off, and they're going to have to piece this together. On top of that, you got bullpen games going on out there. You got other games going on where the starters aren't going past 5 innings, and you're having to go to the bullpen. So not only do you not have starting pitching right now, what's up, Red? Now you're burning your bullpen. So when it gets time to where you got to really start making some noise in August and September, you're going to have guys tired, man. And we see what happens when bullpens get tired. The dog days of summer of August, and then in the playoff run in September, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And how do the Giants navigate to this point? How do the Giants successfully navigate the issue that they're suffering now if they want to make the playoffs? I don't know. Honestly, I think they're putting a lot of stock in having Snell and Ray come back, but we don't know what they're going to provide. Now, Snell, he could turn it around. That is a possibility. Snell could turn it around and be a little bit better throughout the rest of the season. But Ray, come on, man. Ray's coming. He's only 13 months removed from Tommy John. It's not exact. He's not going to be exactly. He's not going to be perfect. Next year he probably will be. I'm just saying history shows that guys who have more than 18 months worth of rehab after Tommy John, usually you're back to your old self. But that's not a guarantee. So that may not be the right path. I mean, this is going to be bad. I mean, Alex Pavlovich, he put out an interesting tweet talking about how the Giants pitching is ranked 26th. Robert, 26th in the ERA in the league. Where does 26 rank? How many leagues or how many teams are in the major leagues there, Robert? You're saying pitching dominates. Okay. Are the Giants dominating in pitching? Please explain that to me, Robert. I see what you're saying out there. And I don't disagree that pitching is 30. Okay. So if the Giants are ranked 26, where's that put them? The bottom. Not dead last, but you're at the bottom, man. And that's not good. If you want to go out there and you want to, be part of this playoff picture, come on. And now you're starting to see look what St. Louis is starting to do. They're starting to put a run together. Now they're a game above 500. We're the Giants, 5 games below 500. That's not how you're going to get things done. And they're going to have to come to us. They're going to have to figure this out. And I don't know how you're going to do it. Who are you going to bring up? Black? He's not going to be suffice, right? Now you got Wisenhunt down there. Maybe you call up Wisenhunt, but then again, that means you got to make a 40-man move. Does Farhan want to make a 40-man move to bring up Wisenhunt? And I saw what you said, Michael. Exactly. That was interesting that they brought up Matos instead of a starting pitcher. How about even, the Matos isn't so bad. What about VR? But I guess, was Flores dealing with something? I don't know. Man. I don't know. Nah, I don't like it. I don't like the way that this is panning out. The pitching is definitely an issue. Now, granted, the hitting is very suspect. Some days they go out there and look, they put up 4 runs. 4 runs is okay. It's not going to get it done when you're in St. Louis, though, especially with the heat. The ball's going to fly. They put up 3. They put up 3 runs and then another run later, but then after that, it was done. So it's hit and miss. It was nice to see Chapman, Conforto, and I think, who was it? Soler? No, hold on. Who was it? Yeah, Soler had 2 hits. Chapman had 2 hits. Conforto had 2 hits with 3 RBIs. So you know what? Hey, that's okay. The middle part of the lineup was doing something, but the rest of the lineup, well, not so much. So I mean, they got some hard decisions because they can get buried. They could easily get buried right now. If you're 5 games below 500, and then over these next couple of games, I think Dan put a tweet out there before the All-Star break, or was it trade? I think it was All-Star break. You know, there's a possibility you're 10 games out of 500 by the time you get to the All-Star break with the schedule that's coming up. It's not going to get easier. I don't know, but it's frustrating as a Giants fan. You know, you got Webb going tomorrow. I mean, there's a chance that, Giants get a win tomorrow to salvage at least one game. You don't want to get set. Come on. Even if they win tomorrow, this is a road trip that is 2-4. 2-4. Man, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I said they were going to go 3-3. Man, they proved me wrong. With that, let me bring in Lou. What's up, Lou? Hey, appreciate the backup here, man.
No problem. No problem at all. How are you?
Not too bad. Dan sitting here leaving me hanging. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, Eric, I think everything you've said has been correct. And really, when you think about it, I was watching the Dodger game tonight. They have more injuries than us.
Yeah, they do.
Right? But why I bring that up is their pitching is all their farm system. Shows you how great their farm system is. When we right now, we have no pitchers coming up in our farm system. Nothing. Yeah. We have guys, offensive, but I mean, pitching right now is all the game. And it's getting to the point where I'm a little sick and tired of having 2 bullpen starters every 5 days.
I agree.
And no other team in the league is like this.
No,
so
they're
you have
not.
to think, why are we like this? And I know somebody else brought up a great point. We have guys in the second half of the season, but all year we knew by the All-Star break, if we don't have all our starting pitching, we're going to be in the disaster we are in now. I mean, right now we have the 3rd worst record in the National League. A lot of people don't realize that. Go to the wild card standings and look who's on the 3rd of the bottom. That's a disgrace.
I can guess. Let's check it out. Hold on.
Take a look.
And here's another thing. I know you guys are going to love this. Imagine that. I'm going to go after Farhan. Imagine that. But here, hold on. Let me get there. Let me unzoom it. MLB standings wild card. Oh, look at that.
We sort of take it for granted, but now I guess we could start looking at, but look who's way down there.
Yep. San Francisco Giants, 3rd worst team. The 3rd worst team in the National League, man.
For the 6th biggest payroll, Eric.
Here we go. Here we go, man. How is that acceptable on I'm sorry. You cannot be the 6th richest, right? Is that what it is? The 6th richest? No, or is it the 6th?
Or the 6th most expensive money we spent on our payroll. That shows you, and we've been saying this a while, Farhan has no clue how to run a team, how to pick the players he has a team, because other teams have injuries, but it's just become a disaster. The other thing today, we went up 3-0. And then again, our bats died. We had runners on. We couldn't get the big hit. And that's been the same thing all season. I'm sick and tired of these guys saying, Solar's come out of it. Tell me when Solar's got a homer when it really counted. It doesn't matter when you're up 7-2 and you hit a grand slam.
Right.
You still lose the game.
Exactly.
This isn't Little League anymore. And I'm sick and tired of everyone saying, how great our AA players are. Oh, we're bringing them to AAA. All we care about is the Giants, the pros, SF Giants.
Right.
And, it's kind of the point now where it's getting bad. And if you look at our schedule, we come home for the Cubs, who are going to play us tough. Then we got the Dodgers.
Then the Dodgers.
And you know what's going to happen there. Then, after that, it gets tough.
Yeah,
we go to Minnesota. We still have big road trips. We still got to go to LA again.
You know what? Hey, Lou, these last 3 series, they should have made some headway. The Angels, you lose the series. The Cubs, you lose the series. And now for St. Louis, you've lost the series.
Correct.
So you got to win those series. The Cubs and the Cardinals, at least, those are the guys you're going to be fighting for if you want to make a wild card. The Angels absolutely just stink.
Yeah, and again, hey, with Willie Mays dying, I know there's probably a lot of sadness there, but this is the majors. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You have to step up.
Yep.
We haven't won. I mean, I keep hearing all on KMBR, oh, well, it's, this isn't Little League. This isn't grammar school. This is the pros. This is what it takes. And again, maybe when you look at it, look at our people in charge. Farhan hasn't really said a word. We have a manager, might have been a safe hire, but he sort of just talks a little bit above average. If Bochy would have been having something like this, he would have tried to get thrown out of a game, get everybody fired up, show some emotion. We don't. Okay, we're excited. Oh, we have Snell coming back. How can you be excited about Snell coming back? He's been a disaster.
Exactly.
An absolute disaster. But AAA's looking good. Look we have 3 guys rehab. No, we don't.
Yeah, I know.
We come back.
You got one guy.
Going to be 6 games. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got one guy who has a 90 ERA that's rehabbing. You got another guy who's coming off Tommy John that's only 13 months removed, right?
Yeah.
And then who's the third? Who did they say else was? Oh, Wade's going to come back. I guess he's starting, right?
Yeah, I mean, hey, Wade could be a big key, but it doesn't matter if we don't have pitching. And
That's
I
what I
don't
was just
care
gonna
what
say.
they say.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of Luke Jackson coming in. That guy, I have no faith. Every time he comes in, he gets rocked.
Yep.
And all we do is when our offensive players have a problem, we send them down. Are you trying to tell me Luke Jackson we can't send down just to try to recuperate it? He doesn't have his pitches anymore. I mean, my God, every time he comes in, he pitches 1 1/3 innings, gives up 5 hits, 2-3 runs. I mean, it's horrible. I have no faith in him at all.
And, it's funny because I was just, when you were saying that, Alive just took the comment right out of my mouth. A Chapman with his 11th error today. Is he going to get sent down? No. But, I mean, whatever. But here's the thing where I'm leading to with the starting rotation. In the start of the season, Farhan signed Cobb to a $10 million deal. What has Cobb done?
Injured.
Yeah, exactly. He's coming off a hip surgery, so you're going to rely on Cobb. You're going to give him $10 million, right? You're going to rely on Hicks, who has never, ever been a starting pitcher, and you're going to rely on him in your rotation. You trade for Robbie Ray, which is okay if it's for the future, but there looks like they're trying to get him back to be somewhat of a factor this year. There's no way. So you're relying right there, 3 guys that are supposed to be in your rotation to take you somewhere. And to me, that's flawed thinking. I don't get that. You're going to have to rely on people that are going to get you through the season, who's going to at least eat some innings. And right now, you got guys out there that can't even eat innings. And I don't understand the process of what they are doing. I don't get it. I don't. And if that's what pisses me off, and the only one to blame is Mr. Farhan Zaidi. Look, I'm not trying to always bash on a guy, but if he's doing something bad, we got to acknowledge it, because this is an issue that we're having right now with starting pitching. And I said it from the get-go that Hicks may be an issue going deeper. He might be great in the beginning, but the further along you go, there's going to be some issues.
And then, Eric, when you look at it, Farhan gave us this team this year. I think he picked up, 6 guys? And if
Something
you go
like
down to 6, I mean, I'll just start. Chapman, huge disappointment. Offensively, I thought it'd be better. He's exactly what Dan said, 220, 230, and at times he'll be a great defensive player.
Yeah,
but to tell you the truth, he sort of let me down defensively. considering
he's
how
not
great
exactly.
he used to be.
Oh, you want to see hold on, guys. Some of you guys might get offended, but if you guys really want to see a excellent, perfected third baseman, look at Nolan Arenado. That, my friend, is a high-level, consistent winning Gold Glove third baseman.
10 years.
The guy is just absolutely phenomenal at third base, even at his age. That guy knows how to do it.
Look at Solar, our other big hit, a big pickup, disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Jung-Hoo Lee. Yeah, he got injured, but it's it doesn't matter if we paid the guy $19 million if he's not on the field.
Mm.
That's 3 guys right there. We signed the backup catcher, which I still don't know why we did, because at that time we still had Bart. That guy, we spent $4 million on him when we have a young stud.
Still, that doesn't make sense.
Really give us any starting pitching. Snell, he signed 3 weeks into spring training. It's been an absolute disaster. I mean, if anybody else were to run a business and you bring 4 guys and they've all been a disaster, you'd be terminated. With us, we gave him a 3-year extension, which, doesn't make any sense.
I know.
And you know what? Let me tell you, after this Dodgers series, this homestand, and Oracle Park is going to start getting empty and emptier. They keep saying, 34,000. They've only had one sellout the whole season, and that was Father's Day. The Dodgers series, the Dodgers series, they have a giveaway every night. Friday night, they have fireworks night. Why do you do a fireworks night when your Dodgers are coming in town? Saturday, they're doing the Aloha shirts again that are really nice.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, they're giving away, I think it's Mickey Mouse ears, which I don't understand, that say beat LA. So, it's just another distraction, which I don't understand. And, it's just, and the problem right now is people aren't realizing we're not even maintaining being close to the wild card when right now all you got to be is 500. If we lose tomorrow, we're 5 games below.
We're right now 5 games below.
5 games and 6 games below.
Yep.
And to tell you the truth, you brought up a great point. We only have 2 starters out of our 5. The homestand is one thing, but until we get to the All-Star break, we might be 10 games out by then. Then what are we going to do? We're going to do nothing.
If you're 10 games out at the All-Star break year,
and our contracts are so bad, we can't really trade anybody.
You're going to have to probably trade the youth if you want to get it. But that's the issue, okay? That's something we could start talking about too. Do you want to trade away youths? Listen to me. Do you want to trade away the youth to get quote unquote major league talent? As long as if they're going to be here for a significant amount of time, I say go for it. But as for a rental, you can't do that because the Giants aren't going nowhere. You're just going to wind up, spending your capital on a 2-month deal, and then the Giants go nowhere.
Yeah.
This is just, and you know what? Snell's going to be here next year. Chapman's going to be here next year. They're going to opt in.
Yeah, who would not opt out? Opt in, you're guaranteed to make money.
A lot of it too.
I mean, Snell, if he were to become a free agent, he won't make the same amount.
No way.
None of these guys will.
No way.
Mr. Opt in after 1 year, you can do what you want. It's helped Farhan maybe a couple of years ago, but now this year it's going to fall right on his face. We're going to be stuck with this team. And here's the other thing. Everybody else in our division is getting better. We're going to be the same mediocre team because of who we have. Yeah. We're not going to get rid of Slater. Why? Oh, well, other teams might want him. Who cares? If he's not helping us and they're not staying healthy, we don't need him on our team. Yaz is on the DL. What happened to Yaz? Do you remember last year he had, 3 pulled groins? Now he's something on the DL again?
Yep. For this time, it's an oblique, right? Yeah, I think it's an oblique.
And who knows how you're going to come back from that? You
don't know. Because obliques are very similar to hamstrings in that they take forever to heal. And it takes a while for them to come, for someone to come back off of that. So we don't know. Did they even say what kind of strain it was? Was it what grade it was?
They've been sort of doing hush hush. Even even some of the guys that work for the Giants, they keep it hush hush. Like when they do the post game, hey, I saw you sent Yaz down. Yeah, we're doing precautionary. Well, what does that mean? If he's out for 10 days, that means something must be wrong.
Yeah.
And then I love how our pitching's been a disaster, and we don't even bring up a pitcher from the minors. That tells us we don't have anything down there.
That I don't understand that one. I figured, hey, I figured a starting pitcher or a pitcher and instead of VR, it didn't make any sense. I'm laughing at Cryptic Trade. Trade Chapman to the Bad News Bears for Lupus.
Lupus, our guy. At least we'd have an outfielder.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, yes, last year was a hamstring. I think he had a couple of hamstrings last year, right? That he went to. Reggie Crawford, I think is hurt too. Don't know what that's all about. But you got to this is the problem. If you guys want to bring up any other starting pitchers that are not named Black or Roop, you're going to have to make a 40-man move. And let's see if Farhan will do that. I don't know. It's really frustrating, though, just to see how the Giants are playing, because it seems like if they can't hit, they can't pitch. If they can't pitch, they can't hit. It's one thing or another.
I'm just more frustrated, that we still, I've never seen a team that gets runners on but can't get a hit. We can't even, it's amazing. The other night, St. Louis had 3 sacrifice flies. I don't even know how many sacrifice flies we have on the season. They did it in one game. We can't do it. I think, it's like Solar before he hit that big grand slam against the Cubs. He was 4 for 174 with runners in scoring position. That's our DH.
That's the guy who's supposed to be knocking guys in.
It's been a disaster. I don't know what the thing is, but and the other thing about the Giants is you knew today, even though they were up 3-0, you knew they were still going to lose.
Oh, I know. When I first saw that, I was like, man, at first when I saw him put up 3, I was like, okay, maybe they're going to do something. Yeah. But then soon as Goldschmidt knocked down that 2-run home run, I was like, oh, this.
And then I'm getting a little sick and tired. I keep bitching. My biggest complaint of the season is our pitchers hit the 4th inning. Our ERA in the 4th and 5th inning, if you take Webb out, it's got to be close to 10. They all fall apart, either the second time around the lineup or, and the other thing too is I don't understand when we have one of the best young catchers, play the guy. I don't understand why we take him out. The guy goes 2 for 3 one game, or the next game he'll go 3 for 5, all solid contact, then we give him a day off. And then why don't we use him as our DH? My God, he's one of the guy's now hitting right-handed, hitting left-handed. The guy literally, when he comes up the bat, something good's going to happen. Instead, we use what's his name, who's our backup catcher. That guy, every time I look in, he's starting. I'm like, oh, great.
And here's another thing, and it's very similar compared to last year. Remember last year in 2023, how did they do with runners and hits with runners in scoring position?
We were dead last.
So if that's true,
dead last, and we led the team. We led the league. Remember, we led the league in strikeouts.
Yes, I don't know where we lead. I don't know where it is. But how is it the same issue this year as it was last year? Don't they have a whole new coaching staff? So what is it then?
Staff. Maybe it's the players.
Maybe it's or maybe there's a philosophy that's being pushed.
Yeah, that's true too.
Maybe. Yes, and the dead last in stolen bases is absolutely just disgusting. It's disgusting, man. Oh, man. The rules are make it so much. I'm not saying it's, anyone could steal, but the rules have made it to where, come on, you should be able to steal some bags. And they're not even trying. Look at the game. Look at the game in Rickwood. You had Fitzgerald gets a leadoff walk, and he sits at first base until there's 2 outs.
2 outs. So that's the whole thing, Eric. We're dead last in stolen bases, dead last in runners in scoring position. I don't know how we're doing in errors. We're just not playing team ball. You know what I mean? I mean, we're making and you know, it's funny. Everybody talks how great Chapman is. And yeah, he's made some great plays. Today's error I thought was a little shaky because I thought it was a tough play, but you know, there are others that he hadn't got. But you know, you look around. I've always been telling Dan from day one, we still don't have a real first baseman. We still don't really have a center fielder. You know, and every other team that's successful have these key ingredients. They have starting pitching, great defense, and people that actually from day one are in the right spots. You know, I mean, look at, I think we've had 7 guys at first base. 7. Give me a first baseman. Give me a left-hand first baseman that can catch everything. You watch, like I watched the Dodgers tonight. There were 3 unbelievable plays, and their first baseman scooped everything. If you saw at St. Louis, Schmidt today, Paul Goldschmidt. They 4 feet in front of him. No problem. No problem. You know, it's such a key position. You know, really, it's just, you know, I don't understand. It's like I get nervous every morning when you get to see who the lineup is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like who's playing where out of position, who's batting where out of position. You know, where's Solar today? So I make sure he's not, you know, we're not going to have a rally and then he can be the rally killer. You know, and the other thing too is I told Dan, why does every one of our guys have to try to hit a home run? Every guy tries to hit a bomb and they fall like 50 feet in front of the fence. How about some singles? You know, except for Yaz sometimes bunting for a base hit. I can't remember the last time we did a sacrifice bunt, you know, with less than 2 outs. All we need is a sacrifice fly.
Yes.
You know, we're just not playing team ball right now. And it's not getting better. It's getting worse, you know? And if you look, I think next weekend, half the season's going to be over.
Yep.
So, you know, we got to turn it up now, or we got to start thinking, what are we going to do at the trade deadline? I mean, a huge decision,
right?
You know, because you're going to be we're not going to be in the playoffs again, even though it's easier. The ballpark's going to be empty. And guess what's right around the corner? 49er in college football.
Yeah,
the Niners, you know, nobody's going to care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Soon as the NFL season starts there in September, then forget about it.
You know,
and the Giants by September.
Yeah. Eric, Dan only cares about, you know, his fantasy team that doesn't start for 6 weeks. He's got to make sure he's got the right people in charge. Fantasy.
Oh, man, that's funny. That's the truth, though.
But, yeah, it's frustrating. You know, you get excited for the Giants. Really, you know, you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden, an hour into it, like, why am I wasting my time?
Yep. Right. Let's see what the chat's saying here real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hope says, Robert, the Padres have 2 starting pitchers. They're 2 best on the injured list, but they are in the playoffs as of now. No excuse for the Giants. People getting after Robert.
That's a shock.
Robert says, we have 4 starting pitchers out. Come on, Robert, man. One of these days you will see the light. One of these days.
And the other thing, it's like you bring up the Dodgers. They have 3 starting pitchers. They have one guy that just came back, you know, from Tommy John. They're now giving him a month off because they say, listen, our farm team and our guys we're bringing up are good enough to make sure, Bueller, take your time. You're not 100%. You know, the Giants like, oh, my God, we got to bring them up because we have nobody else. That's the difference. Yeah. You know, I mean, we have nobody in our farm system that can come up. I don't know what we're going to do.
And aren't the Giants 0-4 ever since Willie has passed?
Yeah.
They're 0-4 since Willie has passed.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. Padres don't have Melvin. That's why they're ahead of us. You know?
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh. Brian. Holy cow. When did Dan get hair? Dan will probably be joining us here probably in the next maybe 5 minutes or so. We'll see. We'll see what he does.
I was called up from the minors to fill in.
Yeah. We had to go to the righty, man. We had to go to the right, but yeah, people asking for Gio. Gio could come back in here. He was in timeout for a little while, but he could come back in here if he wants. It's up to him.
Yeah, I see who's his Mr. Hernandez. Jesus Hernandez. Look at that comment.
Let's be realistic. 2024 Giants are in rebuilding year, and we're built to be a 500 team. Here's the question, and I'll always say this. How can we be rebuilding when Farhan is in his 6th year as the president of baseball operations? I thought the rebuild was supposed to happen after he got hired. So what is going on? How can we have 2 rebuilds within 6 years?
And he got an additional 2 more years. He was doing such a good job of losing.
Yeah. So you tell me, how is this guy being rewarded with the type of play that the Giants have had? I don't understand. All he has given you is 2021. And a lot of that you could put on Mr. Buster Posey because he was still in the clubhouse. He was the quote-unquote leader of the team. It damn well wasn't Kapler, and it sure as hell wasn't Farhan. Sure, Farhan made a few moves that worked out. He got Wade. He got, who was it? Ruff. They all seemed to work out. Yeah, it seemed to work out. Okay, yeah, those worked out. But all in all, you had Crawford, you had Belt, you had Posey, guys who have been Giants for a very long time who stepped up and led the team to victory. That's what they did. So you cannot hang your hat on 2021. You take out 2021, what else has Farhan done? Nothing.
We haven't been over 500 1 year.
Not one. Only
Not
at
one.
or below. At or below 500. That's it. So I don't understand. You can't sit there and talk about rebuilding unless you get rid of Farhan. You can't have 2 rebuilds in a matter of 6 years. You look at his contracts that he's done. How many times has he had a DFA, people? Because it didn't work out. I don't understand it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And yes, Alive at Mission Rock, exactly. They're putting money in Mission Rock. And you know what? They're going to be making even more money because as soon as the A's leave the market, how much more money is the Giants going to be making when the A's are out of there? And they're the only game in town for baseball.
Good point.
Yeah, they're going to be printing money. As a good friend of mine, AA, has told me. They'll be printing
Eric,
money.
here's the other thing. All these guys we DFA, it's amazing when you see them playing with another team, how successful they really are. Mm-hmm. Dubon, they didn't like him. They got rid of him. Guy won a World Series. The defensive guy who made that incredible catch in the Dodgers series, who's now playing with the Cubs.
Tauchman. We DFA'd him because, we thought we had other people.
Pilar. He's actually we made that great trade for Robbie Ray in Seattle, right? We basically gave up 2 guys. You think they aren't excited? Mm-hmm. They're in the American League West on top in Seattle, having the best record, where they let the Giants, who are in 4th out of 5 teams in the National League West. Mm-hmm. I don't know, these decisions. I mean, it just tells me Farhan, every one of these decisions or every one of these trades or every one of these pickups, none of them work out. None.
Nope.
And then here it is tomorrow. We're going against St. Louis's ace in the hole. We keep saying this. When our ace loses, it's like 2 losses in a row.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
So he's got to win tomorrow. But if Webb loses tomorrow, we then are going to have another bullpen game Monday with the Cubs. And then they say, I don't know, again, who knows who our rotation is. But, before, and then you're going to bring Snell back after 1 start. And his first start is going to be Friday night against the Dodgers. Don't you think he needs somebody a little bit easier? Why are you going to do a ballpark where it's going to be 60% Dodger fans? It'll be a rockin' Friday night fireworks for a guy whose ERA is 11, and he's going to come back against the Dodgers. I just don't understand. This is not logical.
No, it's not.
That's got shellacking written all over it.
Asif, Asif, you're not wrong. Why not blame the manager? He couldn't with the San Diego roster. There is a reason he was let go. Melvin sucks.
He was great with the A's, but remember one thing, they never won the title. But again, Farhan gets these guys that were good 8-10 years ago. Sort of when Farhan was good, maybe 8-10 years ago.
When they were leading the charge in all the sabermetrics. At that point, you might have had a quote unquote leverage or a heads up against some of these other teams, but now everybody does it. Everyone's equal on the quote unquote the analytics of the game, because it's also more than just analytics, because look, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, AA on Twitter. It's Farhan, and I said this before, he runs the game as it's a simulation without taking into consideration the other things that happen within a game. There's things that happen during the process of a game that will determine whether or not a player is going to succeed or not. Maybe he got hit. Maybe he had a foul ball off his foot. Maybe he's just not seeing it. Maybe he didn't have a good night's sleep. Maybe he did. There's so many different things. You just can't go look at a computer screen and say, this guy hits this against righties. This guy hits this against lefties. He has this kind of success. You can't do that, because there's in-game situations that occur that a computer cannot tell you. It cannot be quantified. And it's just absolute. And that's where I think you kind of lose something.
Not adapting to the situation.
Exactly. I mean, because there's this much more. That's what we're talking about, the eye test. Because there's other things that is transpiring within the process of a game that just cannot be simulated. You can't.
Yeah, and the other thing was Farhan never playing. He was never in those moments, and maybe the game is past Farhan. Other teams that, I mean, if you look, the Orioles, they're not doing, they've given up on doing what they did. The Yankees don't do it anymore. All these successful teams tried it, but now they've adapted. We're still stuck in the rut of doing it. If it's a lefty, we got to start Slater. We got to start him on top because he's our fastest. Well, if he's not getting on, it sort of, it doesn't really work.
Exactly.
So I don't know, but no, that's a pretty good call.
Exactly. Yeah. Alive, the deviation for the statistic. Exactly. That's just all statistics, man. Like I said, you're not taking into consideration other things. So frustrating. Well, with that, hey, I got something I could play here. I put together, it's a little bit late. I put a little montage together of some photos of Willie Mays. So I thought maybe we pay tribute to good old number 24, Willie Mays. All right, there we go. Thought we'd honor the.
Well done,
the
Eric. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You gotta celebrate the life and the memory of the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays.
And then, hey, Eric, I have a question.
Yeah.
I was sort of shocked with Willie dying. Why didn't and again, I don't know if you need to go through the major league, but why didn't maybe, since they were in Alabama, why didn't they all wear 24 for him that special day? Do you need permission or?
I don't know. I guess the little patch on the jersey was.
This is the greatest player of our generation. You got to do something more.
I know. Arguably the greatest player ever to play the game.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks, Daniel. You got Jesus says, I saw Willie Mays in 1965 in Milpitas. He gave me a signed autograph. He was sitting there drinking buttermilk and signing autographs. I was 10 years old. That's awesome. That's a great memory there. That's something that you'll never forget. And hopefully you'll be able to pass on that autograph down to your family.
Did you ever get a chance to meet him, Eric?
Never
Anywhere?
did. No, never did. Thanks, Hope. Appreciate that. Thanks, Brazili. Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Redjet. Appreciate it. I'll play it again a little bit later. I don't know if Dan saw it or not, so I'll probably play it again when he shows up. If he shows up, I don't know. Maybe he'll show up. Maybe he won't. I know he's enjoying that the in and out. But I don't. And here's the thing: is Farhan's going to be sticking around here. Dude, what is it going to take? And that's really, it's not where we're at. And that's what just makes me mad. That's what makes me mad is I don't want to have to wish for something terrible to happen, talking about, the Giants losing 100 games or something, right? For someone to be moved off of, and it's like, is that have to, if we can all see this, how does ownership not see the same thing and say, you know what, maybe we need to make a course deviation here and get someone that's different than Farhan. I don't understand it.
Yeah. It's 3 years of the exact same baseball.
And it hasn't worked.
Nope.
It hasn't. Tell me, where has that worked? And what's so, did the Giants have this problem before 6 years ago? No, they didn't. Before 6 years ago, they had Bobby Evans, wasn't the greatest, but he tried. But before that, he had Sabian. Sure, the guy probably needed a break. The guy was doing it for 20-something years. I get it. That makes sense. But my gosh, man, the guy knew how to run a club. Farhan just knows how to do analytics. I think he's just in over his head. That's what it seems like. It seems like he's in over. Some people just do not excel in certain positions. And I think that he's in a position that he cannot excel. He was able to excel in Oakland and in LA because he wasn't, quote unquote, the man.
There's a big difference between vice president and a president.
Yes.
He
Absolutely.
was an assistant VP. Now he's the main guy and he's fallen on his face. It's gotten worse. People are excited for him to come because he came from a winning organization.
Correct.
He had some success, but now when everything's on your shoulders,
it's different.
It's different.
Yep.
He's now getting paid the big bucks, but he's not performing like a big hitter.
And you know what? You either rise to the occasion or you fall by the wayside.
Yep.
And that's what's so frustrating is why they were able to give him an extension. I don't know I don't see the results to give him that justifies that extension. There's none. I mean, it's what I really hope, Lou, I really hope that there's a particular member of the ownership group who has some pride in this organization, who played for this organization at a high level, who brought us championships, will be able to step up and let it be known we got to go in a different direction. He needs to use some of that, you've heard the term where you don't want to fight every battle. You got to choose your fights. Well, I hope this is the fight that he chooses to get after and says, you know what? We got to go in a different direction. We have to, because he will have some pull, I would think.
Agreed.
But I would think with the amount of clout that this man has, that he can create change for the better, for the betterment of this organization, for the team. I mean, come on, man. We're talking about the San Francisco Giants. And if you want to honor the memory of Mr. Willie Mays, well, then you know what? Go out there and actually act like it. Stop, playing the margins. Go out there and draft and develop your talent. Know how to get a trade done. Know how to sign a free agent. Gosh dang, man.
Yeah, no, Eric, when I watched that game the other night, what really stuck out to me, and I know you guys spoke about it, was Reggie Jackson. When he spoke about racism and everything, he didn't need to. He's already successful Hall of Famer, but he said how it is.
Yeah.
We need one of our guys to have a little kahunas and say, listen, there's a problem here. Okay. And I think you keep bringing up the point. People keep forgetting we're the San Francisco Giants. Okay. We 3 World Series champions, basically almost 14 years ago. Okay. We have pride. We have probably the #1 ballpark in the business. Right. But the players that we've been using that are on the field aren't of the Giants' stature. And we need to do something because fans aren't going to be coming. We already have a problem where a lot of players don't want to come here. The reputation is, it's either Farhan or the ballpark is too slow. It's too far. As Dan said, when the Dodgers are here, my God, they hit 9 homers.
Hey, Soto didn't have a problem. Judge didn't have a problem.
No.
Ohtani didn't have a problem.
None
So
of
it's
these
something
guys
more
do.
than just a ballpark.
We need players that, again, we keep talking, we got to change the ballpark. Maybe we got to change the players that we've been going after. Like I said, we don't even have players that can put bunts down except Yaz. Okay? We don't have guys that, if you make an error, it's okay. And I think it's gotten to the point now, and we keep bringing this up, either they sit the veterans and play all the rooks and all the youth, and we survived this year. But because of that, we're going to be 200 times better next year because these guys have now seen what it takes. The offseason, they're going to know what they need to work on, and we know what we have. Like right now, we still don't know what type of team we have.
No. We
have no pitching. Our defense is still bad. We have no speed, and we're boring. It's gotten to the point now where I used to get so excited when the Giants would play like on a Saturday morning. You wake up, get your coffee, the Giants are on. Now it's almost like a waste of time.
Yep.
Because I see our starting lineup. Oh, great. Solar. Conforto. Oh, he got 2 hits the other night, but we lost. Yeah. I don't care if these guys get hits and we win. But I'm sick and tired. Solar's coming out of a slump. Yeah. So we had 2 games where he actually, like a squirrel, found a nut. But the ball games we lost. It's got to be about wins. I don't care about these personal bests. Doesn't matter to me. It's got to the point now where we have sunk so low where, we're excited we can get no hit. We're excited we only made 2 errors. My God, we've lost what, 5 or 6 straight? 3rd worst record in the National League. People are going to get fired up. And Melvin, do something. Instead of sitting there, try to get in, if we're having all these problems with the umpires, get in an umpire's face, get them fired up, do something instead of just sitting in the dugout and doing nothing. Every other manager isn't saying there's problems. It's only the Giants have problems. The Giants announcers, the Giants pitchers. But, last time I looked, there's 2 teams that are playing. The other teams aren't being affected. They adapt to the situation. They get the W. We get the L. Am I right, Dan?
You're right, Lou.
There's Dan.
It's the NBC Sports Homer Network, not the Bay Area. It's a Homer Network, man. I'll tell you what. We're no Homer Network here, NorCal Sports Network. We tell you it like it is. I was nauseated listening to the broadcast today on TV. All these, and then the post game. Oh, it would have been great if we could do this over. If take out those two dynamic plays in that one inning by Arenado and then the diving catch. If that wouldn't have happened, would have loved to play this game over. Yeah, I would have loved to play it over if the Cardinals didn't hit 4 home runs too, Dave. I mean, come on.
Our announcers live in a fantasy world.
But you know what? They've never been like that before. What's happened?
I've been
you know what it is, Eric?
Dan sees me all the time. I've been complaining now where I write Fleming has become a bigger homer than Kruk and Kipe, which is almost impossible. Every game he basically argues, oh my God, these umpires, my God, oh my God. And then even the post-game show, Mr. Marbles got on and said, the best thing about AAAs are using the robot. You know, oh God, we should maybe get the robot. It's only us complaining. It's never the other team.
No, I know.
Amazing thing.
The Giants have become more and more homers because there's several reasons. One, the fan base is dwindling with the all the giveaways, like you said, Lou, earlier. They got to give 3 giveaways for the Dodgers series. You'd think the Dodgers would be enough. It used to be the Dodgers Giants was like, you know, everybody be up. Now it's like nobody, and so they are having to talk about this team. They can't say much negative because anything negative is going to wake up the casuals. You cannot wake up the casuals. The casuals are the guys that keep coming back no matter what. If the casuals hear that the Giants announcers, Kruk and Kipe and Fleming and Pence and Miller and who else, if they start saying this team is awful right now, then you know what? The casuals might start believing it. Right now, you got the casuals drinking the Kool-Aid, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The casuals are keeping the owners happy. And the casuals are the ones that come to all the functions. Oh, it's Tommy Bahama shirt night. It's a bobblehead. Oh, let's go get that little sun hat, honey. I really need a sun hat. So they'll go out to the game and get the sun hat. And the casuals are the ones that will tell you you're too negative. This team is in it. They're only 2.5 games out of the wild card. Yeah, they're in 13th place in the National League. But yeah, they're 2.5. True. But the casuals will focus on that because they think there's a wild card berth hope, and they'll stay in it all year long, probably within 4 or 5 games. That's how bad the Giants could lose 15 of the next 20, and they'll still only be 5 or 6 games within the wild card at the most. And they'll be, talking about we're still in this. And so the casuals are fine with the idea of competing for a 3rd wild card spot in the 5th largest market in America. And the casuals will just keep, they'll go to those events and they'll go to the fan fest and, oh yes. Oh, it's Alex Cobb. My goodness, Alex. Oh, your hip's I hope your hip's okay. We're looking forward to you pitching. We know you're going to be good, Alex. And, we signed Matt Chapman. Yes. Oh, we forgot to look at Matt Chapman that he can't hit. And we didn't realize that, you know what? Matt Chapman was a name a few years back when he was with the A's, but we got him now, so we're really going to be great. Yes, keep going, casuals. That's who the ones that are supporting this team. They're the one. It's the true, real fans that want Farhan fired because they know what this team represents. This team from 2000, well, let's just go back to 97, Sabian's first year. 97 through 04, this was a winning team, 8 straight years, a couple of division titles, a World Series appearance, and then, had 3 or 4 down years, and he was rebuilding the thing with draft picks and savvy trades and savvy free agent pickups. And all of a sudden, they win 3 world championships, and they've got the greatest manager in the game. They've got one of the top executives in the game, and they're like nationally respected by everybody. Okay, now this team is not only not respected nationally, they're disrespected nationally. This team is a joke. I mean, we got to see something unbelievable Thursday night in Alabama in Rickford Stadium, and the old timers and the greats. And we got to see what the Giants were like. We got to see, hear about the Willie Mayses and the Willie McCoveys from Alabama. And the list went on and on and on of the type of players this organization has had. Willie Mays, probably the greatest, he's on everybody's top 5. He's probably on most people's top 2 as the greatest player to ever play. And he was a San Francisco Giant, and he was proud of it. And Willie McCovey was proud of it. And you know what? And Will Clark and Buster Posey and Juan Marichal and Gaylord Perry and
all homegrowns.
Yeah. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And now what do we have? The only hat that we have to hang on right now is basically Elliot Ramos and Logan Webb. And they can't win a game when Logan Webb pitches. They're 5-11 in his starts this year. Come on.
We're lucky Ramos is up. If it wasn't for an injury, he wouldn't be here.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing.
He's our all-star.
That's the other thing. Why Farhan should be fired. If I wish somebody with the Giants was listening. I really do, because I've been trying to tell you guys this for almost 2 years. Farhan is not the right guy to run the organization. Stick him behind closed doors and let him run the analytics department, and get a manager that will take the analytics, but Farhan has no authority, because he's not president of baseball ops. He's not GM. He's just running the analytics department. And give the information to the manager and let him decipher how he wants to use it. But I've been trying to tell people for 2 years, Farhan is not cut out to run this club. And why do I come down hard on the Giants? And frankly, guys, I don't mind seeing the Giants lose at all. I really don't, because it's the only way this franchise, what's the word for there to be good news, there's got to be bad news, right? Okay. The bad news is you got Farhan right now. The good news is the only way you're going to get rid of Farhan is if the Giants stink. Because if they play to the casuals, and the casuals are happy with 84 wins and either sneaking into the wild card or just missing by a hair, that keeps Farhan here. Okay? And why? Because the casuals will support it, and the owners are fine with it, because look, we still have fans showing up. If fans would wake up and stop showing up to the ballpark and supporting this mediocre team, maybe the owners will start getting a clue. But if you keep supporting this team, forget it. They are going to keep running it back. And you know what you're going to have next year? You're going to have a worse team that's just going to be the same team, but a year older. Yep. You're going to have Chapman again. You're going to have Snell again. Conforto will be gone. Heck, he might even re-sign here, because they'll probably, they'll take Yaz back on an arbitration deal again. They'll re-sign Slater again.
Yeah.
guys, you need baseball people here. Okay. Farhan is not capable of putting together a winning roster. Look what he does, guys. Look what he does. Look what he brings up. What do other teams do when they get an injury? They go out and find somebody. They make a trade. They make a trade. You know, I mean,
Dan, the Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves lost their two best players on the team. One team made a trade 2 hours after the injury happened, and the Atlanta Braves made a trade when they flew back home from the road trip.
Yeah, these teams will continue to make trades. You watch. The Dodgers are not done.
No.
They will go out and acquire a star at the deadline, probably before the deadline. While teams like Farhan, guys like that wait till whatever the deadline is, if it's August 1st or July 31st, I'm not sure what the trade deadline is. It's one of those two dates. Farhan will wait till the last minute. We'll be waiting. And guess what? AJ Pollock has been traded to the Giants. That's the kind of deals that Farhan feels comfortable with. Farhan, going back to Elliot Ramos, why he should be fired, Farhan? He missed his most talented player in his organization, didn't even know what he could do. Eric and I and Los have been saying the guy's had 76 at-bats in 2 years. And what did we say? We said, we don't know if he'll make it or not, but give him a solid month of every day in the lineup. Well, what has he done in a month? He's shown that he might be an all-star. Is he going to regress a little bit? Yes, he's starting to show a little regression. I expect that. That's baseball. But you know what? He's still their most talented player.
They're starting to pitch around him.
Yeah, because there's nothing else behind him.
Correct.
I mean, Bailey's okay behind him. Yeah, Bailey can hit. But Chapman, fourth. Soler. I mean, Soler's hit what? In 2 or 3 games now? And now all of a sudden we're going to say he's, listen to Fleming and Pence that he's all back. No. I saw this with Chapman. There's flaws in their swings. They're going to go back to what they do. You know what Soler's hitting? He's hitting fastballs that are being grooved. Wait till he gets behind on the count and they throw that chase, make him chase
slider away,
and he goes and swings.
He doesn't even foul them off. He misses them by so much.
Yeah. So
he's worse than Serrano.
I told you guys Chapman would do what he did. I told you he'd have a hot streak. He'll have another one. Maybe he got 2 hits today. Maybe this is the start of something for 4 or 5 days. It's not sustainable. He doesn't have the swing for it. Our buddy Nick, why don't you hit Nick or Eric in the stars there?
Yep. Well, let me hit this one first. I forgot. Tyler Wise Guy donates $2. It says the Giants are turning into a dumpster fire. Thanks for the $2. I can't disagree. And then you got Nick donates 5. Says I'm itching to call in and vent.
Give him the.
I put it out there earlier, and I'll put it out again.
Put out there again. So this is the whole thing with the Giants. I don't. Every one of you guys should be in this chat, except I'll exclude Robert Rothberg because I know he'll never want to see the Giants change. But you guys should be actually rooting for them to lose right now. And why do I say that? Because if you want change ain't coming unless it's bad, unless things get bad enough. And that sounds kind of harsh. But why do I say that? Because I know if the Giants win just enough to whet your appetite to make you feel like it's good. Oh, they're winning. And they sneak into a playoff. Oh, we made the playoffs. Unless you get to the NLCS and make it competitive, forget it. Not a good year.
And Dan, Except for us winning the division, where automatically we were in the playoffs with the new wild card system, where it's easier to make. How many years have we made the new wild card situation?
0.
So
Yeah,
even though the major league has made it easier, we still haven't gone.
When did they make it easier? What year was it? 22?
22.
Yeah.
And how many wild cards were there in 16 when the last time they made the
It was just the wild card teams and one wild card. So they added 2 more teams to make it.
They added 2 in 22?
Yeah, it was the division leaders, the 3 divisions, and then 1 wild card.
Yeah, so they made the wild card in 16. They lost to the Cubs in a pretty good 5-game series. But
no, that was the DS though. That was the DS.
Oh,
they beat the Mets. They beat the Mets in the play-in.
Oh, that's right. That used to be the play-in.
Play-in.
There was 2 wild cards, right? That played in.
Yeah, it was just 1 game play-in, and then you went.
That's right. Yeah. Then you went 2. Okay,
so they made it easier, and we still can't qualify. Here's the other thing, Dan, that nobody's talked about. Since 2015, if you take out 2021, we haven't had 1 second half where we've been 500. So I don't know how we can think we're going to get better. We're always at that trade deadline. Oh no, we don't want to get rid of Rodon because he's going to not sign up with us.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not going to trade these guys. You know, we do it every year. We have 3 or 4 guys that we should trade, but we're within 2 or 3 games, and then of course we fade.
Daniel Shabazz says they brought in the second wild card in 2014. That was for the play-in, though.
Yeah, the play-in.
It was only
2022. They then made it 3 wild cards. There is no, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Michael Roeder says, I've been a fan for 60 years. I'm not going to bail on Dan's opinion. Okay, that's cool. I'm not bailing either. I just want Michael. I want better.
Change.
I want change. I'm not against the Giants. I just know they're not going anywhere.
Is it this pretty sad that it takes a segment of the fan base to sit there and say, I hope they suck, so they fire the guy? Shouldn't the ownership understand and see the same things that we say so they could take it within their own hands and say, you know what, this isn't working out. You need to move on.
You don't have anybody in the ownership with a voice that really, unless Buster Posey speaks up.
I've talked about that earlier.
They do not have anybody that really has a clue what's going on with the baseball operations. Larry Bear, forget it.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Nick, and then we may hear some Larry Bear stories tonight. Let's bring in Nick, and we'll let him vent, and then we'll go to our buddy back to Lou. All right, Nick, you're on NorCal Sports Network. Vent away.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to, here's the thing. I know they're never going to do it, but Dan, you brought this point up a couple weeks ago. Because of this ridiculous wild card, this year is unique in the fact that it's going to be a seller's market at the deadline, unlike ever before.
Right.
Because you have all of these teams in it. Now, the Giants, if you actually look, I was looking at this earlier today. The Giants are actually lucky to only be 5 games under 500. If you look at their run differential, they should be worse, believe it or not. I know that's hard to believe.
Well, they had those comeback wins on that one road trip.
They actually are playing worse than their record would suggest. That's how bad things are right now. So here's the thing. I got roasted. I mean, you guys agreed with me, but I got roasted by the casual fans on Twitter for the Giants need to trade Logan Webb. Now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to bash Logan Webb, but everybody who's saying that Logan Webb is the leader, that's only because he's the de facto leader. You know, Logan Webb is kind of like Matt Cain, in my opinion. He's at his core, he's a quiet guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the only reason why he has become this leader is because the Giants have nobody else to lead the group.
Correct.
So Webb, in a natural state, Webb would be a lead by example type guy. So that argument, oh, you can't trade him because he's the face of the Giants. Well, I'm sorry, but if Logan Webb is the face of your baseball team has problems. Let's just put it that way. The face of the team going forward should be Ramos and Bailey. Those are the two young players that actually have all-star potential. In fact, I think Ramos is already there. But the thing is, with the seller's market, if the Giants were smart, like this team's going nowhere. Here's the other thing. They coughed up a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick to sign Smell and Kratman. So the farm system, here's the thing. The farm system is going to lag further behind the other teams because the other teams have all their picks. The Giants are missing 2 crucial picks in the upcoming draft. You have to fix this if they're smart. I know they won't. They'll probably do a Pollock thing like they did last year. But if they were actually smart, I made the in fact, I think Boston fans would probably argue it's too much, but here's my deal from Boston. If Boston wants Webb, we get Marcelo Meyer, who's their hotshot shortstop prospect. Yep. He's a potential star shortstop. He's got an 870 OPS in the Eastern League, which is the league that the Giants prospects can't hit in. All the Richmond guys don't hit. Right. But the Red Sox guys do, which is interesting to me. The other kid is Nick York, who was in the same, I think he was in the same draft as Meyer. He was their 2nd-round pick. And he's a local kid. He played high school ball out here in the Bay Area. I forget where, but very close. So you could offset the local tie thing with Webb, and first thought he played in Rockland and he grew up an A's fan. So I think that point about Webb is overblown. But anyway, so you get Nick York, you get Marcelo Meyer, and then you add a couple of guys at the back end of their list that have some upside. And I think you got to do it. I love the
kid Meyer. I love the Marcelo Meyer kid. I saw him in that draft as highlights. Yeah, good, great prospect out of high school.
So if you can convince, and the other team I'm thinking of is Baltimore, because Baltimore just lost Bradish to Tommy John. Correct. So they might even be more desperate and they're a better team than Boston. So you might even get more from Baltimore. And it's not just Webb. They need to see what they can get for Doval. They need to see, I don't know how much. I mean, here's the problem. You can't get much for the Confortos of the world. So while I agree that they need to trade Conforto if they can, if they need to trade Kratman if they can, you're not going to get anything. But with Webb, you have a guy who's on a team-friendly deal.
I've been saying this too, Nick. He's their best asset.
He's the only asset that's going to return impact. And here's my last point. The Giants have no reason. There's no reason why this team shouldn't be winning 95 games and battling the Dodgers every year. There's no reason why they shouldn't be winning 95. This wild card shit is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, who are these people? These people on KNBR, the Pavloviches, the Andy Baggerleys. Oh, well, if they get 84 wins, they'll get in the. Who cares? Like, seriously, who the hell cares if they get the 3rd wild card? I mean, that's looking like it's long gone anyway, but who cares? Who would be proud of that? Are you serious? This team should be battling for the division, man. What is this 84 win bull crap? That's not what this organization should be. They have a top 5 payroll. So as much as there's some issues with ownership, the problem is they're spending on crap. So if you have ownership that's willing to spend, there's no reason why this team should not be winning 95 games. And you got to give a little bit of credit to ownership. They shelled out a lot of money for Papago, and that hasn't done, like, what has that done? Because Farhan said they needed a player development facility, but player development has gotten worse under Farhan. So ownership shelled out all this money for a real sparkling new player development facility in Arizona. But what has that done? You're still doing your stupid ass, 60 pitch limits with guys like Wisenhunt, who's looking a lot worse than he did at this time last year. Reggie Crawford is very exciting, but they've handled him horribly. He's looking like a back end reliever at this point. That's all the Giants have in the farm system right now. I hate to say it. They have guys like Matos and Luciano, and we see what Ramos is doing. But on the pitching end, they lied. They said they had all this pitching. All of these guys are relievers. You don't have any impact starters. So
Hey,
Where
Dan.
is this? How is this team going to battle the Dodgers? They're
Hey,
not.
Dan, I got a question for Nick.
Oh, go ahead.
How important do you think us losing David Bell, who's now the manager of the Reds, who used to run the farm for us? Maybe we just don't have a good replacement for him, because if you notice, when he was running the farm system, it seemed pretty good. Dan, am I right, or is that maybe something we sort of overlooked?
Well, you're totally right on that, and that's actually another point. It's not just Farhan; it's the people that hold positions in the front office. Because guess who replaced David Bell? It's Kyle Haynes, who has been horrible. This guy is a complete moron. He should have been fired 2 years ago. This guy sucks. He's horrible. The other guy, you want to know who's in charge of pro scouting? Not amateur scouting. Amateur scouting, the draft guy is Michael Holmes, but the pro scouting director is the brother of the moron Angels general manager. His name's Zach Manasian. He's the brother of Perry Manasian.
No more. Bar's gone.
Right.
So this guy, Zach Manasian, he's the guy that's in charge of finding all these, back-end 40-man waiver wire pickups. He's the guy, remember Lewis Brinson? That's Zach. And he's going to change all those stupid moves like that.
Your mean Mercedes.
Yes. All of the moves like that are Zach Manasian specials. He's another guy that should have been fired long ago. The one guy I'm curious about is Patilla, because Patilla did have a pretty good track record in Houston. So I'm not sure how much of this falls on Patilla. I mean, all of this stuff was kind of happening before he showed up. But he's clearly not fixing things either, because this season is even worse than last. I said it. I got killed. I said, even with the spending this year, the signings of Smell and Kratman and Soler, I said, this team's going to be worse than last year. This team is going to be worse because, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, Soler is a downgrade from Jock Peterson. Even if you want to admit Jock can only hit righties, which is true, Soler is terrible. He's worse than Peterson. I'd rather have Peterson right now. Come on.
He's going to be an all-star for Arizona.
He is.
He might be.
He's raking. So you paid three years, $42 million for this guy that he's a designated hitter who can't hit. I never understood this one. I know
designated hitter who can't.
He can't hit. He's a 220 hitter. He's got
as Eric said, Florida didn't want him back.
He's got the same problem that Kratman does. Okay, Soler is this physical specimen. The body is a scout's dream. Okay, like he is a specimen, but he has one nitro zone. If you avoid the nitro zone, you're getting this guy out. And the same goes for Kratman.
Yep, exactly. Avoid the nitro zone. Exactly.
Because I was saying this in the super chats, but the last at bat in the Rickwood game really pissed me off. Helsley did not have it that night. There's 2 runners on. There's 2 out. You got Kratman at the plate. This guy throws the worst cement mixing hanging slider I've ever seen, and Kratman is not even close to touching it.
Not even close.
Not even close. Now, how is this guy hitting cleanup for the goddamn San Francisco Giants? That is the biggest joke of the season. This piece of shit is hitting cleanup. Excuse my language, but I cannot believe that this has gone on for 2 weeks. This guy is hitting cleanup? How?
I love it, Nick. We're going to cut this one into
everyone who likes Chapman, here's the thing. Chapman, trade him to the Yankees so he can bat 8th and play defense. That's what he's good at. He's not hitting cleanup for any team, because if he's hitting cleanup for your team sucks.
Yes.
Seriously.
I love it, man. You're preaching to the choir. I love it, man. The people out here need to hear a different voice other than me saying this stuff.
And I got one last thing. Okay, I've been, I'm kind of aggressive. I got a certain style, but I've been banned. I was a paying member at the Athletic. I got banned from Andy Baggerly's comment section because I told the truth about this team in spring training. I've been banned from the Giants subreddit because I was telling the truth about Jung-Hoo Lee and that he's pretty much a defensive specialist. He's not an all-star hitter. They paid way too much for Jung-Hoo Lee. I told the truth about Blake Snell and the fact that he's had 2 seasons wildly different than the other seasons in his career. And we've seen how Snell's season has turned out. the biggest Giants problem, it's not just the Homer fans, Dan. It's these bozos that cover the team and give you the Giants press clipping. I mean, they're like a press secretary. They're the Giants press secretary.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the who besides Bonte and Joe on 95.7, who is actually getting to the bottom of these things?
Yeah.
You know, and the Giants, you know, nobody called Farhan on this pitching. You know, Farhan, remember when they didn't have any starters in the offseason? We got all these young guys.
Yep.
Well, Mason Black.
Youth movement. That's what he said.
Mason Black is one of the worst pitchers I've ever seen. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to the kid. I mean, he seems like a nice kid, but he throws 91 down the middle. That does not get major league hitters out. He has no changeup. You cannot be a starter if you do not have a changeup or a cutter. I'm sorry. You can't. So this guy has 2 pitches, a really weak sweeper, and a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and you thought this guy was going to come up and put up zeros? Then we get to Keaton Winn. I actually like Keaton Winn, but I like Keaton Winn in the bullpen. I do not like him as a starter because he only has 2 pitches. You got the same problem with Landon Roop, another live arm. He throws pretty hard. He's got a really good curveball. He's got no changeup. He can't start. These guys are not starters. They are relievers. And you are going to hinge the whole season on the depth of these guys? Like, come on.
Farhan, where is Farhan going? How does he not know this? Nick, give us, because just listening to you, I could tell you're a baseball savant. You got a lot of knowledge. What's your background as far as did you play ball? Have you scouted? What's give us a little bit of details.
No, I'm kind of like Farhan. You know, I played probably up until about 7th grade. I wasn't very good. And then I got into some trouble as a kid. I may have been able to keep at it for a little bit longer, but I was kind of a troubled kid. So I played for a while, but I always loved watching the game. And I would watch every Giants game. Actually, as much as I kind of dislike them now, I learned a lot from Kruko. And then I also do a lot of research. Like I learn, you know, I would follow. Here's the thing. I've been following prospects since probably Buster Posey, because that's when I was like, when Buster Posey was drafted, I was probably like 16. And so I've been following prospects since then. And I've tried to kind of learn how the prospect guys do it. And I've learned what works and what doesn't. And I've missed on guys and I've hit on some guys, and just like everyone else. But I kind of have an understanding now. Like I used to be impressed with a guy like, I don't know, I can't think of anyone, but somebody that threw hard used to really impress me. But now I know it's not just throwing hard. They have to have like at least 3 MLB average pitches. They have to have command. They have like, you know, so you kind of learn through trial and error, like, okay, this guy had something good about him, but he's missing this. And the same thing kind of happened. I'm actually much better at hitters. Like I can kind of tell when a guy's got a, like, you know, with Kratman, like it's just obvious. This guy has a horrible swing path, you know, like he pulls off the ball almost every time. You could just tell, like, this guy does not have a good swing. I was saying it the other day. Kratman has, you know, one of the most athletic bodies I've ever seen. Like he's a scout's dream in terms of physical athleticism.
Right.
But he's got the worst, like I used to think Nick Ahmed had the worst swing in baseball. I think pound for pound, he's a little better than Chat. You kind of expect it with Ahmed. He's a little defensive shortstop. I think pound for pound, he's got a better swing than Kratman. Like dude, you need to overhaul that thing in the offseason. That's the problem. We're going to be stuck with this guy for 3 years. I can't watch 3 years of this guy in the cleanup spot. Who can watch this? Seriously.
Yeah, it really is sad. This is what I was upset about the signing of his, because I was against the signing for all offseason. Just don't sign Chapman. Don't sign him. He can't hit. He's, you know, he strikes out too much. He doesn't drive in runs. He's never had 100 RBI season.
He's the one. Here's the thing. He had a good rookie season. And then the other good season he had that was really good statistically was the juice ball year, 2019. Yeah. You look at his career otherwise, it's not that impressive offensively. Pretty league average. I'm actually surprised he's been league average, because the swings I've seen this year have been, I'm surprised the guy has done what he's done. Like, this swing is terrible. I cannot, like, I know I'm driving this point into the ground, but I cannot fathom how this guy has been like, you know, a 120 OPS plus hitter before. Like, it's unfair. Like, did he just play in a division where pitchers threw him meatballs? Because this guy's swing is horrible. In fact, he's actually better against pitches that aren't meatballs. The meatball is the one pitch he can't hit. He gets a ton of meatballs, and he never does anything with them. I can't tell you how many times he's gotten a pitch right down the middle, and he's weakly topped it. Have you noticed that? He weakly tops these middle pitches that go to the pitcher, or he'll weakly pop it up. Like, it's hard. Like, I can't. Like, what do we do? We got to deal with this guy for 3 years because Melvin likes him? Come on.
Yeah, that was bizarre to me that they actually did this, because now you know, oh, he says, oh, I'm going to have a big year and I'm going to definitely be opting out. You know, he's not opting out.
He's not opting out. No,
he's
no
not
way.
opting out.
No
Snell's
way.
not opting out. You know, Snell might have a comeback year because he'll go to spring training and he knows he's on his, you know, final year. He's probably, you know, going to be pitching for his future, to stay in the big leagues.
Here's the thing with Smell. I call him Smell. I've never liked him. Even when he's been good, he's one of the hardest pitchers to watch because he's 100 pitches after 5. Here's the thing. He has 2 Cy Young seasons. And I'm not a hardcore stats guy, but this was actually very easy to figure out. I look at his baseball card. He had a Cy Young in 2018 and a Cy Young in 2023 last year. So the 2 years he won the Cy Young, he had a strand rate, which means stranding runners. His strand rate in 2018 was 88%. And then last year it was 86%. The MLB average for stranding runners is about 75%, give or take. Smell's career average, even when you include those seasons, is 77%. So it's not like he was a different pitcher last year or in 2018. He just happened to have a little more fortune at getting the outs when he needed them and preventing runs. But he is who he is. He's a 5-inning, 3-walk, 6 strikeout, and you hope he limits the damage. That's what he is. He's not I look at Smell. He's a luxury if you get into the playoffs because he can miss bats. I'm not going to say the guy is totally horrible. Like, if you get into the playoffs, he could be a problem for another team with his stuff.
Right.
But you're not going to get to the playoffs. So he only makes sense if you're already a playoff team. Then, okay, sure. Spend whatever you want on him. I don't care. It's not my money. If you got a playoff team that's ready to win 95 games and you want to add on and sign a guy like Snell, I'm all for it. But they were banking on this guy to lead the rotation with Webb. No, he's not that. He's never been that. He's 5 innings. He's 5 innings. Come on.
Yeah, 5 innings. That's the whole team. That's what Jordan Hicks is. Jordan Hicks is a 5-inning guy.
And the other homers, not just the dopey beat writers, but yeah, you're right, man. This broadcast crew, you know, I love Kruko. I learned the game from him. I would say just watching him and listening to him. But this year, it's like, dude, this guy's bashed all of the young players, even Ramos before he went on his hot streak. If Ramos made a little mistake, he'd bash Ramos. He'd bash Matos. He certainly bashed Luciano. But this guy makes every excuse in the book for Blake Snell going 4 innings, 4 runs. Like, what are we doing here? You make every excuse in the book for Soler, you know, being like, what was it?
And Chapman. They don't get on Chapman.
They don't get on Chapman at all. Soler was what? I think Lou said it, right? 4 for 147 or something.
Yeah, for
like unreal. Like, this guy's the least clutch hitter I've ever seen. And Kruko's going on KNBR and the more, oh, he's almost out of it. He's almost out of it. He's almost out of it. But you're gonna bash a young guy who's 22? Like, come on, dude. The problem with this team is the horrible veterans.
Yes, it is a bad veteran team. And I'm telling you, I believe, just like in politics, I believe there's talking points that are handed down to the lower levels. I think Farhan and his crew have talking points sent down to the media guys that are in the media that do not get on this team, or we'll be replacing you. Because it's just so much homerism. I listen to every other broadcast out there. I listen to the Cubs broadcast. I listen to the Cardinals. I listen to the Mets, who's got the best broadcasters, I believe, in the big leagues.
Mets is fantastic.
They'll tell you exactly what it's like, and they'll tell you their team, which players are they won't sit there and make excuses. Oh my goodness.
Fleming hates every umpire this year. Like every ball and strike is a problem for Dave. Like, dude, Dave,
he hates every umpire.
The team sucks. It's not the umpire.
You know what? I'll say this. I love Dave Fleming as a broadcaster. He's as talented in the industry as they come.
Yeah, he's really good at college football too. Like he's talented.
Excellent. College football, college basketball, just national baseball. But when he gets on talking about Giants baseball, sorry, man, Dave, you got to stop the homerism because you're too talented. You got a great delivery, got a great voice, have a flair for the moment. But the homerism of the calls, I mean, there was a called strike 3 today that I can't remember if it was Hicks that was still pitching or if it was Jelly. It was like few inches above the box, above the zone, and he goes, "Oh, got him," and it ended the inning. And no comment about, they got an umpire's break there. And I had recorded it. I was talking to Eric on the phone. I says, I'm gonna wait for the next time there was a bad call against the Giants, but there never was one. This umpire today had a pretty good zone and didn't. That was the only call he missed that was really blatant out of the zone. And Fleming, got him. If it was against the Giants, oh my goodness, I can't believe that call. How in the world do you call that a strike? And then he was defending, as you say, Crapman. That's a hit. I'm keeping that a hit in my scorebook.
Yeah, in the scorebook. Yeah.
You had all day. Just don't hurry your throw. Yeah, you're on the grass, but you threw the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing is Crapman is I don't know. I haven't watched him on defense before this year, like extensively. Like I've obviously seen the highlights. I didn't watch him day in, day out. He makes the highlight plays, but I don't know if it's like he's pressing, but he has been sloppy. Like there's no doubt of it. The errors are the errors. Like I'm not going to say errors are the end all be all, but he has been sloppy at times. Like he has not played a clean third base. He's played a highlight third base, but he's been sloppy. No doubt about it. And of course, nobody will call that out except for on this show.
I thought it was a tough play. I wouldn't have been like, okay, they called it a hit. That would have been fine. But to say there's no way that was an error because the throw, he didn't have to hurry the throw. All he had to do is set his feet, and he kind of hurried it. And had he got his feet set and took a crow hop step and fired it on a bullet on a line to third, it would have been, it's a long throw. But
Maldonado would have made it.
Yeah. I mean, it could have gone either way. It could have gone a hit or an error. I wasn't going to complain either way, but the fact that the broadcast booth just defended him, there's no way that's not an error. Or that's an error. That's a hit.
I say this with no irony. I would not be shocked, and just wait for it. But I believe, Andy Baggerly has had some really laughable MVP votes in the past because he gets an MVP vote. I think he had Kevin Pillar 9th in 2019 when he had an on base of like 270. He had Kevin Pillar 9th. Just wait for it. Chapman is going to get a down ballot MVP vote from one of these dork beat writers. I guarantee it. He could be hitting 220 with 16 home runs and a 670 OPS and just nonstop whiffs and weak contact. But Baggerly really appreciates the defense, so he's going to give him a little 9th place vote in the MVP voting this year.
You know what? The other thing that was just embarrassing today, guys. Did anybody catch when they put up vote for your Giant for the All-Star. Did you guys see that? They're pushing it, and they put the pictures of the players up on the screen.
Yeah, they put Chapman's picture.
And they had Yaz in there.
What?
They had Yaz in there. They had Ramos. They had Ramos and I don't know if Wade was in there anymore, but I don't. What the heck is Yaz doing in there? Yaz?
Yeah, the thing. It's funny you bring up Yaz. I've hated Yaz for so many because he's a 220 hitter, but I don't know. Like these people that wash Chapman's behind, like Yaz is the right field Chapman. He plays good defense in right field, but we hate Yaz for a reason because he can't hit. Well, what's the difference? You hate Yaz, but you love Chapman and his gamerism? Like, come on, the guy sucks. Come on.
Hey, Dan, just check this out. This doesn't take in consideration the error today. So Chapman was ranked 5th in errors.
In what? Baseball?
In baseball.
In baseball. So he's tied for. Is that now he's tied for?
Now he's tied for second. There's four people tied for second. I don't know how everyone else did with Candelaria, Baum, and Torres.
Gee whiz. What's his fielding? Oh, he's got the lowest fielding percentage.
948 fielding percentage.
He's actually lower than De La Cruz.
It's not good.
De La Cruz is 949.
Correct.
Oh my goodness. He's got the worst fielding percentage in baseball.
So the argument of saying he is...
And that doesn't count today's error.
Correct.
Yikes.
Look, is he a good third baseman? Has he won Gold Gloves? Absolutely. This year, it's not that good.
Yeah, he's been sloppy. He's had highlight plays, but he's not doing very good
this year.
He's thrown some balls away. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that that is geez, that's tough. That's tough.
That is tough. It is
11 errors for Chapman. Wow. But we sent Luciano down for the 4 errors he made, right?
Before I go, so Lou brought this up about David Bell.
You're cutting out there a little bit, Nick. I'm not sure if it's your connection. You got a earphone in, or
oh, that's bad.
See if you can try again.
He's not there.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
There he went. He just dropped off.
Hey, I appreciate Nick talking because he's one of us. He's a real fan.
Yeah, he knows the game.
Yeah, that's good. He brought some.
There he is. All right, you're back on, Nick.
Yeah, I think I just had to reset. Okay, one more thing. Lou brought this up with David Bell leaving and player development. So here's something for everyone to chew on. Now, Helio Ramos, he was promoted to Sacramento in 2021, the second half of 2021 season. He only had a half season in Richmond before they decided to promote him. Now, Ramos struggled in the PCL. He was the worst hitter in the PCL for about a year and a half. And I believe now that that's because they basically skipped his AA development. He didn't get enough at bats in AA before they promoted him. And it could have killed his career. Now, thankfully, Ramos fought through it. He learned the league. And we saw last year was the first year he really started to figure AAA pitching out. And he started destroying AAA pitching. And now he's destroying Major League pitching. So it didn't affect him now. I mean, I do think it affected him, but he was able to overcome. The Giants have done this with every guy. They did this with Luciano last year. Luciano was having an average season in Richmond, and then they decided to fast track him, which I think is playing into the fact that he's had a poor season in AAA this year. And they just recently also did it with Hunter Bishop and Grant McCray. Both Hunter Bishop and Grant McCray only had 2 months of at-bats in AA, and now they're fast-tracking Bishop and McCray. McCray in particular bothers me. Bishop, you could make an argument he's older and it's time to get going. Maybe you have an argument with Bishop. but McRae needs the AA at bats because I think they actually might have. He's a very good center fielder, like very, very good. He's got some swing and miss issues he has to iron out. I think the Giants might have a power speed center fielder in Grant McRae because I think Ramos is more of a corner guy, although he can pinch in center and doesn't embarrass himself. He's more of a right fielder. I think Matos is a left fielder. McRae is a legit 70 grade center fielder. Like he is fun to watch in center. But I think the Giants are making the same mistake. They promoted him to Sacramento way too quickly. He needs the AA at bats. He needs to figure out the AA level before he goes to AAA. But here's the thing. Farhan is on the hot seat this year. So this is my theory, and I have no insider information. I don't know anybody in the Giants organization, but this is my theory. My theory is Farhan wants guys like Bishop and McRae in AAA because the overall numbers and slash line are going to look sexier to teams at the trade deadline rather than if McRae was struggling in AA, but it's worse for their development. Does that make sense? Like he's trying to dress them up as trade bait and make it look better, even though I don't think it'll work because teams are smarter than him. Like nobody, if McRae is hitting well in AAA, but still striking out, 35% clip, like teams are going to dude, you're not fooling us. But I think Farhan is doing it in the hopes that he fools somebody. But the thing is, you're ruining this guy's development by doing that. You tanked Luciano's development last year. And there's been injuries with Luciano too. And it's not just, there's a multitude of things going on with Luciano, but he did the same thing with Ramos. Ramos was one of the worst hitters in the PCL for a year and a half because they rushed him. Now, thankfully, he figured it out and he looks like he's a star, and that's great.
What do you think the issue is, Nick, with player development at AA? Why you mentioned, Mayer with Boston tearing up AA. Why are Giants players not hitting well at AA? Is there an issue with the farm director?
I think that we see it at the big league level too. There's a huge I watch the Richmond games as much as I can. It's kind of the same issue with the big club. They take a lot of fastballs. They do not hunt fastballs. It's like the Oakland A's on base percentage philosophy, and I'm not opposed to on base percentage, but you can't give up middle pitches when you're trying to take walks. Like it doesn't work that way. You have to hit the pitches. And then once you establish to the league that you can smoke a middle fastball, then you're going to get pitched more carefully, and that will naturally lead to more walks. But you can't go hunting for walks. You cannot go hunting for walks. And you're right. It's not a talent thing because Luciano has incredible bat speed. Matos, same. Ramos has incredible bat speed. These guys are all athletic. They're all talented. McRae is especially talented. He's got good bat speed too. So it's not a talent thing, but I've noticed this too. They get into a lot of deep counts and then they're like in protect mode rather than when you're in that 2-0 count.
Right. Other teams that go up more aggressively.
Yeah. If you're going up there, they call the term hitterish. Luciano does not look hitterish in Sacramento right now. He did look hitterish at the big league level, which is interesting. Granted, it was only 23 at bats, but Luciano in AAA, like he goes up there and he's looking to take, and I can't, but like, dude, you can't be looking to take. You can't be looking for a bailout with the ABS system, which is what he's doing. He's had a lot of walks in AAA, but he's like trying to walk. It's bizarre to me. It should, like, Luciano has incredible bat speed. He should be looking for something to drive. And yeah,
well, another example of today's game. There was a 3-0 count. I think Bailey was up, and it was like, okay, dude, you're down. You got one guy on. You need to score. You're going to get the best pitch at this 3-0 pitch, and he took it right down the middle.
It's Bailey's had a really good season. He has had some real questionable takes too. I missed that.
I just want to see these guys because, I watch a lot of games too, Nick, but I don't watch as many minor league games as I did actually last year because I've been watching more major league, probably because of this stupid fantasy stuff. But I love watching the Dodgers. I love watching a guy like Ohtani just come up, and Freeman. I mean, they're looking to drive the ball. Like you said, the Giants.
The Yankees too. They're a fun team.
Yeah.
Even the Phillies. They have a lineup full of sluggers. This team, it's funny. The offense is so down in baseball. The Giants' offensive numbers, believe it or not, are actually like league average.
Yeah, they're hitting like 246 or something average.
They're not that great in home runs, but run scoring and some of the other stuff actually league average. But I agree with you. Like, there's nobody on this team besides Ramos and Bailey that I'm actually looking forward to watch right now. Like, none.
Right.
I guess you could say Wade before he got hurt. He was a fun at bat.
Right. Yeah, just hopefully we'll see. I do agree with you when it comes to trading. I think they should be selling. This is going to be an ultimate seller's market. You got 25 teams that want to buy, and there's no way, in my view, that Farhan beats out the more aggressive GMs for the players that the Giants will need to get to make them a competitive team. I don't see how he gets it. I don't think they even have the farm system. I don't think other GMs value the Giants farm system. I know they don't value much of their everyday players. Supposedly, according to Melvin, or in the beginning of spring training, that all the calls they were getting for their young pitchers. Well, the Giants, like you said, they've kind of destroyed Mason Black's value. Landon Roop, like you said, only a couple of pitches he has. Wisenhunt, who knows what's happening there with Wisenhunt. Reggie Crawford's injured. They're handling him like he's a starter that's pitching in the back end. They only pitch him every 4 or 5 days before he got hurt.
He's hurt
before he got hurt.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their farm system, their mindset is. I don't know if this is Farhan calling the shots or if it's all Kyle Haynes that's making the calls on this. But to me, it seems like they might want to look at trying to go out and pay top dollar for a team's farm director who's actually having success.
Get a guy rid of Farhan first. If you don't get rid of Farhan, it doesn't matter who you get.
Yeah, Farhan, yeah.
Farhan's got to go. That's what it comes down to.
Hey, Dan, my goal, and I've been saying this since the beginning of the year, is July 7th to me is D-Day for the Giants. Okay, so what that does is that gives us 14 games until July 7th. We have tomorrow's game against St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be tough. We're going against a stud pitcher. We're going against Gray, who's going to match up with Webb.
Yes,
then we come home with 4 against the Cubs.
3 against the Dodgers.
3 against the Dodgers.
Then you got.
Then we go to Atlanta for 3.
Cleveland.
And we go to Cleveland for 3. So
Kai Correa's Guardians.
I don't even know if we can even be close to 500.
Oh, Lou, I think, Lou, I said the same thing 20 games before the break. I was being generous when I said they'd win 8 games and go 8-12. That puts them 9 games under 500 at 44-53. I think they're more likely to win 6 or 7. Their pitching's a mess right now. I don't see how they go out there and put together any type of competitive pitching. The only starter you have right now that you can rely on to give you innings is Webb. Yeah. And the bullpen is shot. And then they bring up VR and not a bullpen arm because they don't have any bullpen arms down there in Sacramento.
Here's the other thing,
I
Dan.
was telling Eric today on KMBR with the knuckleheads telling us they were all excited about Snell because he's going to pitch, and they're going to bring him back Saturday on national TV against the Dodgers.
Oh, geez.
So why would you bring him up against the Dodgers when it's going to be a 65% Dodger ballpark? But here's the other thing. We were talking about attendance. The Cubs are here for 4 games, except for the day game, which is Thursday. They won't have more than 20,000 any of those nights. And you got to remember, Monday night you have the Stanley Cup Finals, but there's no other competition going on right now. The A's are out of town. There's no Warriors, no nothing. The Giants got to do something. But I think by July 7th, if they're 10 games out, Farhan's got to do something. Do not wait. Get what you can now. But
he won't move.
He'll wait. But it's just, are you telling me we're going to go to Atlanta with no bullpen in the heat where the ball's going to be flying out? And then Cleveland, my God, they're scoring 12 runs a game. We'll go on a road trip. We might go 1-5, maybe 0-6.
Yeah.
They could sign Bauer, but they won't. But Bauer just struck out 19 in the Mexican League, which, by the way, is in a high elevation, like the equivalent of Coors Field. Bauer is having a historic season in the Mexican League. I think he would even be better than Webb. I know people will recoil at that. I think he's got better stuff than Webb. He throws 97. They're desperate. Why not call Bauer? He'll play for the minimum.
I know. I don't understand that.
He won't even cost anything. And then if he shoves, you can flip him for some prospects. Like, who cares?
I wouldn't be surprised if you see him at the trade deadline and he's not going to get the league minimum. Someone's going to pay him a lot of money.
Well,
he says he'll play for league minimum, but there's going to be teams out there wanting his services, and someone's going to pay a shit ton of money.
Yeah, you could be right, but they could have had him earlier. Like when nobody wanted him. You could have jumped on it. Hey, we'll give you the minimum.
Somebody like the Yankees,
but I understand there's some things going on with him, but
don't be surprised if the Dodgers.
But, I mean, come on, they don't have any starters. The Giants have no dude, they have no starters, right? Like it's like last year, you're gonna have to run right now with Winn's injury. I mean, he wasn't a starter anyway. But now you're really going to have to run like 4 bullpen games.
What do you think, Nick?
Another mistake they made.
Go ahead.
In the next 20, what was the schedule again?
Okay, they've got St. Louis is 1 tomorrow. Then they got 4 at home with Chicago, 3 at home against the Dodgers. Then they go on the road, 3 in Atlanta, 3 in Cleveland, and then they come back home.
He dropped off again.
Oh, okay. What has he got? He must be having. Go ahead and put him back. Go ahead.
What was the schedule in the next 20?
Okay, you got St. Louis tomorrow, and then you got 4 at home against the Cubs, 3 against the Dodgers. Go on the road, 3 in Atlanta, 3 in Cleveland. Come home for 3 against Toronto and 3 against Minnesota. Then it's the All-Star break.
Wow. I actually think the Cubs are better than their record indicates. I think they're going to start playing better. Every one of those teams is better than the Giants. So I would say 20 games. Yeah, I think 8 is optimistic, to be honest. Yeah. I think more like 7 or 6.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too, is I gave them 8 just because sometimes they do some good things at home, even though
home games. Yeah. I mean, I think if they win 9, I'll be surprised. But I'm kind of with what you said earlier. I kind of want them to lose and bottom out. I know that sounds weird as a fan, but I'm just tired of this crap wild card ball. Like, I'm tired. I would rather have them bottom out. Believe me when I say this. I would rather have them bottom out, win 75 games, fire everyone, than have them win 83 games and sneak in, and then everyone keeps their job, and then the same shit happens next year. Like, we can't have that.
Yeah,
we can't have that.
At some point, there's got to be big change. And, this is year 6, as Mad Dog said. What are you going to do? Give this guy a job for life? Year 6. Where do you get to go anywhere in business and fail 4 out of 5 years? And this could be the 5th out of 6 years and still have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's hard. Like someone said it earlier, the Giants are the worst team at trying. Like there's so many of these teams that don't even try. Like they're not even trying. They're just developing, at the big league level. Like so many of these teams, the Giants and the Blue Jays are the worst teams in the league that are actually trying. They actually spent. They thought this roster was good. They thought they were going to win, and they're terrible. Like, come on.
Right. And then and if you listen to the broadcast crew, they want to just blame it all on injuries. When the Dodgers a month ago had the highest number of games missed of any team in baseball.
I think you're going to start to, when this team fades, you're going to start to see Jung-Hoo Lee's name brought up a lot and how he just losing him was the anchor point in the season. Here's the thing. I'm not trying to be mean. I know people like Lee. I'm a little less high on him. I like his defense, but he's not a difference maker. Okay. He may become that. Maybe he will get better. We'll see. But he was not an offensive juggernaut. He was not walking at the lead. He was getting nothing but strikes, and he was hitting ground balls. Now, he hit a few balls hard. He had some clutch hits here and there. He played a great defense. I'll give him that all day. But let's stop pretending he was some difference maker. He was not. He was not. So
they were under 500 with him. They were under 500 before they had any injuries to their.
To me, I mean, I've been doing this a while. I miss on some. I hit on some. I'm not the end all be all. But to me, he looks like he's like Chapman. If he's hitting in the bottom of your lineup and playing Gold Glove center field defense, okay, we're cool with that. But I don't think he's a leadoff hitter. He can't steal bases. He was 2 of 5 for steals. And if you look at him in the KBO, he never had more than 10. So even though he's athletic, he doesn't know how to steal bases. So how is he a leadoff hitter if he can't get on base and he can't steal bases?
Right.
He only had 4. Get this. He had 150 plate appearances before he got hurt. He only had 4 doubles. I actually thought when they signed him, I was a little excited because I thought, you know what, maybe he'll be like Angel Pagan, where he'll hit a lot of balls into triples alley and he'll rack up a lot of extra base hits. That I thought he would be a gap hit. No, he was a singles hitter. He was a flat out singles hitter. He had like, I don't even think he had a triple, maybe one, but he only had 4 doubles in 150 plate appearances. You times that by 4 or 5. That's only 20 doubles. What?
Right.
You paid $119 million for 20 doubles?
Yeah.
And a 290 on base? Come on. Like, what are we doing?
Right. You're right, man.
And don't get me wrong. He had an infectious personality, and he was a fun player to watch in the field for sure. I'm not going to sit here and say the guy's a bum, and he might get better. But this season, he was not changing the fortune of this team. Like, let's be clear on that. I actually think they might be better because the funny thing about it is when Lee was playing, Ramos was in AAA. I know it's not 1-for-1, but I'd rather have Ramos in the lineup than Lee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nick, we've said this. If it weren't for the injuries to Lee and Slater and Conforto, we would have never seen Ramos. In fact, he was on his way to either being traded or DFA.
He was a bad month away from being DFA. That's how. Yeah. Here's the thing: the other injury that we forget about. I made mention of this a couple shows ago, I think, or maybe not here. Maybe I did it on Twitter. But before the season, remember Meckler got hurt in that final Sacramento intra-squad game.
Yeah.
Meckler was higher on the depth chart than Ramos.
Correct.
He was.
Oh yeah.
And I don't dislike Meckler, but he is like Jung-Hoo Lee. He's a singles hitter. Right. So they remember last year they sent Ramos down in the stretch run after he hit a home run and was starting to figure things out. They sent Ramos down and they kept Meckler up for that awful week where he couldn't hit anything.
Right.
They wasted that's the other problem this team makes. They waste all these 40-man spots. You didn't have to add Meckler for 3 years.
Right.
You didn't have to add Mason Black for another year. Now you have no 40-man flexibility because you added Mason Black for, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be, if they DFA'd Black, I wouldn't miss him, to be honest. But, you know, you might have to DFA Meckler because you have no 40-man flexibility. They 40-man these guys way too early. Like, critical mistakes with the 40-man roster. That's a Farhan staple.
Well, they had to bring up Black because of pitching injuries. That's the reason why they had to bring him up.
Well, that's the thing, though, Eric. I think because they brought up Howard after Black. Why not just bring up Howard, and then if Howard burns out...
I don't know if Howard has it either because his last couple outings weren't exactly...
Yeah, but Howard isn't... You know, Howard is, you know, a minor league free agent. So if he burns out, who cares? DFA him, nobody cares.
Fair enough.
But you wasted the spot on Black before you tried Howard. It should have been the other way around.
That's a valid point.
You should have brought up Howard first before you started Black's clock. That was a critical mistake to me. And I agree, you know, I was high on Howard. He hasn't looked great the last 2 outings, and this might be what he is. But you could have preserved Black's, you know, 40-man eligibility by another year if you had just went with Howard. Now Black was terrible, and now Howard's not looking great. But
now you got Bivens taking a spot.
Actually, I'll see about Bivens. I actually, of all of the journeymen they give time, he's actually he looks like he has pretty good stuff. We'll see how he does.
Yeah,
but he's got a pretty good sinker, and he has feel. He has a lot of feel and command for the breaking ball, which is more than.
My only thing is, anytime a guy's 30 and he's never made big leagues,
I hear you. Yeah,
generally a reason why.
Yeah, that's for sure. But he's another one, though. I would have been fine with. I know he's not a starter, but I would have been fine with, you know, giving him a 40-man tryout rather than, you know, the one saving grace is they haven't wasted Wisenhunt yet. They haven't started his clock yet, and I don't think he's ready. I got a lot of questions about Wisenhunt. You know, he's got a great changeup, like a real death car changeup that he has rode that pitch to AAA. But the problem he's facing now is he has inconsistent fastball command, and his breaking ball is not very good. So it's not the end of the world with him, but I would like to see him spend the entire year in AAA and then hopefully design a better breaking ball in the offseason. The one guy I'm excited about is Birdsong, because Birdsong actually has 4 major league pitches, in my opinion. He has a 4-seam fastball, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. His curveball is the best pitch he has. Actually, fastball is pretty good too. He leans on the fastball, curveball, but the other 2 are at least passable, which is a difference, in my opinion, that separates him from the other Giants arms we talked about that only have 1 or 2 pitches. So I'm actually high on Birdsong. I think he could be a mid-rotation starter some point down the line, but not this year. He needs to spend this year developing. If they get cute and add Birdsong and rush him and ruin him, like, we need to try these people for war crimes. I'm serious.
War crimes.
I got one final question for you, Nick, before we let you go. Let me count these roster guys here. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait a minute. Did I miss somebody? 1, 2, counting the pitchers active. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do they only have 11 or 12 guys on the active pitching? They got Bivens 1, Duvall 2, Hicks 3, Jelly 4, Howard 5, Jackson 6, Miller 7, Rodriguez 8, the Rogers brothers 9, 10, and Webb. Are they carrying 15 position players? And 11, that can't be accurate. How many?
They just brought up Villar and Matos for who? I forgot already.
Let me
Winn
count.
has elbow discomfort. I don't know if he's on the
1,
IL.
2,
And he has went on the IL.
3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah, Winn.
So yeah, they swapped Wynn's spot
8.
for a player.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm missing somebody because my eyes are messed up. I'm only counting 11. I know they got to have at least 12 guys on the pitchers. But what's the next move? Because you can't, with this watered down staff and just wiped out bullpen, you can't go with just 12 pitchers and
No.
14. So what's the next move you see?
Well,
coming?
do they have an off day Monday, or are they playing
No.
Monday?
No,
They don't.
no off days till 7/7.
Oh shit. Well, I saw what is it? Roop. Last I saw was on the complex doing a rehab stint. So I would imagine if that went well, he'd probably get another game. Eventually, they see Roop as a long man option, even though I would rather have him in Sacramento, because I think before he got hurt, Roop was actually finding a changeup, which would be a game changer for a guy like him. If he found a third pitch, that would be game changing.
Well, you got to remember
but
Harrison's
because they're
coming back
so
and Snell's
desperate.
coming back too.
And yeah, I saw today that Snell and Ray were pitching for Sacramento today. Is that right? I
They
didn't
didn't
look
pitch
at Sacramento.
today,
I was
but
working today.
Tomorrow.
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 Tomorrow. Right.
Snell's pitching
Yeah, it was like
Monday
Tommy
and then
Romero
Saturday
today.
at Oracle.
So I can't imagine. Here's the thing. I can't imagine that Ray jumped from a couple complex outings and now he's in Sacramento. Like, do they really think he's that close? Maybe he is. I don't know. I can't imagine that he is. I was expecting like August, like optimistic for Ray. I would guess it's going to be Snell, and then they send down Villar. Like they're probably going to rush.
Should be back soon too.
They're probably going to rush Snell back, and and then he can use that as an excuse the next time he gets lit up. Oh, I was rushed back. Like it's kind of comical with him and this team and the excuse make. Here's the thing. Michael Lorenzen signed after Snell, and he's actually having a pretty good season for the Rangers. The Rangers are not having a good season, but Lorenzen is. So the whole spring training thing, I don't know. It doesn't really fly. Like, get in shape, dude. Like, it's go time. You're getting paid $37 million. Like, let's go.
Only 30 this year. 30 or 32 this year. 30 next. It's either 32 this year and 30 next year, or vice versa. But hey, Nick, great stuff, man. Always welcome here at
NorCal thanks
Sports
for letting
Network.
me on the event.
Yeah, have a great night, man, and keep up in
the
chat. We love seeing your stuff in the chat.
All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, Nick there.
He set a high bar.
He said he had a lot to say.
He set a high bar. You want to call Dan and Eric? You better be locked and loaded.
Yeah.
Because he knew exactly what he wants, man. NorCal's not messing around. You better be ready, prepared, and have your facts. I was very impressed with him.
Yeah, he did well.
Good stuff, man. Well, hey, Lou, man, it's great having you on, man. What do we got here? 2:27. I don't know. It's a Saturday night. Are you fired up? Do you got some stories for us, or you want to put those on
a couple?
Okay.
Hey, real quick, before you get into the stories, can I do something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
It's
Eric,
it's a little public address here. This is from Vince's Twitter. Our good friend Vince Rousseau, who comes on the show occasionally. That little boy right here, his mom passed away tragically.
Oh,
and he's putting together he's helping promote a GoFundMe. And I'll bring up the GoFundMe right here. I'll let you read the story about it. Look, I'm not asking you guys. It's all up to you guys. If you want to donate, it's up to you guys. If you got a little bit of extra cash, hey, help out this kid and his family. Is at 5 a.m. on Wednesday, June 19th. I was awoken from a call from my brother, Jeremy. His fiancée, Megan, had passed away in her sleep. She was only 32. She had been fighting seizure disorder and she had heart issues, and we believe one of those were the cause, but it will take time to get confirmation. Her wishes were to be cremated and for a private family service, which will be held at a later time. Megan leaves behind the son, the boy, 4 years old, and was 3 months pregnant.
Oh, jeez.
To make matters worse, the following day, their 7-month-old puppy, Nezuko, also died unexpectedly. As a former vet assistant, I knew something wasn't right, and we were on our way to the vet. She declined rapidly on the way, and I gave her CPR the last few miles, but was unable to save her. Nez was Elijah's best friend, and in a short time I knew her, she gave great comfort in an impossible situation. Nez was brought into their home to alert to Megan's seizures. I believe she knew her work was done, and it was time to join her as well. We are looking first to find a new friend for Elijah. He lost his mother and his best friend within 36 hours. We want to help him find some source of comfort he may understand. Any additional funds will be directly benefit Elijah's future needs. Jeremy had no life insurance on Megan as their wedding date was not until August 13th. Thank you for all the prayers that's sent this week, and please keep the family in your thoughts and navigate to this new normal. So yeah, if you want to check it out, you can see I donated. Look at Vince, man. He really laid down. Holy moly. My goodness. But yeah, if you guys have anything, I'm pretty sure if you go check out Vince Russo's Twitter, the information will be in there where you can link to that. So if you guys got a couple of dollars you want to donate, it'd be a great cause.
Hey, Eric and Dan.
Yeah.
How about this? So we could do something as NorCal. How about I donate a game for the Giants, 4 in the front row? We hold it for a month or a couple weeks. We set a guideline. We keep talking about it, where the seats are. And then we take all the money from it and we donate it.
Oh, Lou, that's awesome. And I know Vince.
We'll pick a game like, we can do like maybe the Atlanta Braves or St. Louis Cardinals. I'm trying to, do a Saturday, I mean, I could give like 2 or 3 games where we can, maybe Milwaukee during the week, but
sure.
We could do something where, it goes to something and we donate it. And then, that's what's most important, try to help out this guy. Because if, we were in that role, boy, who knows how we'd be. And, we know how Russo he's a big Giants fan. And why don't we do it as a group?
Yeah, what are you saying? Sell those tickets? You're going to sell those
tickets? I'll give you guys a game. Let Dan choose or Eric. And, we'll tell people, hey, we have 4 tickets. It's for this event. The face value of the tickets, we'll just start low and work our way up. And then we have a guideline, and whatever somebody wants it, they
awesome,
donate
man.
the money, and, we can maybe raise 1,000, as a group, or maybe, 1,500 since it's for such a great cause. And, we'll give it to the GoFundMe.
That is absolutely awesome. That would be fantastic.
That.
And here, guys, just so you know where these seats are, it's right up here somewhere, right? Third deck?
Down low, right by the dugout.
He's joking.
The third deck, right? Over here?
Obstructive view.
No, here you go. This right here is where the seats are. There you go,
the first 4 seats.
Right there. This is the dugout.
That's the Giants.
North San Francisco Giants. Yep. And here's the seats right there. Right along.
Oh, Lou, you got to get me in those seats some game. I'll have to put on one of those fake mustaches and long hair, or they'll throw me out, man. I know.
Hey, why not do something good? I mean, obviously, someone from the crew of NorCal is being affected, and we just stand up, and who knows, we might have somebody on this call, or somebody might have a special birthday coming along. 4 tickets in the front row for a Giants game, and we'll take the money and we'll donate it for this, because it's that's sort of a unique situation.
It is, absolutely. So, man, I'll let Vince know what's going on. I'm pretty sure he'll be greatly appreciative.
I think kind of tough to do some story. I think we'll have to save those stories for later after after that, Lou. Be kind of
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, that's fine.
Kind of difficult to go into some.
Yeah, I didn't mean to derail it.
Yeah, man, I was.
Hey, Eric, is there a way where if we give you a game, right, and you could punch something up like make fake tickets? So, like every event, hey guys, just so you know, we have a little fundraiser for this game. Here's the section, 124, row CC, seats 1 through 4, or something like that. And you can just say, and we can just come up with a value, and we keep a running thing. Who knows? Maybe Nick has someone might have deep pockets for a great occasion, and boom.
Wow. Ooh, my goodness.
That's why I have seats like this, for kids. And when there's a kid involved, I mean, especially, like one great thing about Willie Mays is how great he was for the kids.
Absolutely.
Now we have a situation where, hey, here's a little guy that needs help.
Yep.
Right.
Wow, that is awesome. Hey, speaking with Dan, did you see the Willie Mays tribute I did?
Did you already play it tonight?
I already played
it. Eric, why don't you end it on that, man? That's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
we can end it. You want to end it that way?
Yeah, let's end it. Everybody will be back tomorrow night at 8:30, and we'll close out with this tribute to Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid.
See you guys tomorrow night. Woo!